For this next segment, I'm sitting here with Ari Fuld's family, with his wife Miriam, his sister-in-law Shoshana, and his very special parents, Mary and Yona. His wife and Shoshana are special as well. But this is a very special segment, and please, 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 if you have not yet shared this with other people, this is a wonderful time to be able to share this special program with everyone you know, Facebook, Twitter, email, SMS, WhatsApp, whatever it is. This is about keeping Ari's legacy alive, his memory alive, Yehoshua's legacy alive, and a wonderful opportunity to share with other people. So thank you so much for being here today. I guess the best way to start out is just asking, where are we today, one year later? I mean, it's hard to imagine, but I'd love to hear your first thoughts.
If I can start, I think I would say that a very beautiful, large and strong tree was cut down. But I think when you ask where we are a year later, the offshoots that have sprouted from that tree are beyond belief. And I think that's the reason that we're all here, because Ari's work was begun by him and was done well by him, but what has happened since then will continue his legacy for many, many, many years to come. I think of projects that are exciting to everybody, and only a few of them. We know that to date, 7 Sifrei Torah have been donated in his memory. I really, in my long life, have never before heard of anybody for whom 7 Sifrei Torah were given. There are countless children that are called Ari or some name close to Ari, Ariel, whatever it is, boys and girls, countless. The EMT program that was set up in Efrat, how many lives, please God, will be saved by that group in Ari's name? How many babies will be born, good, beautiful Jewish babies will be born, helped by these EMT people? Givat Ha'ari hopefully will sprout and grow and be a combination, bring together Efrat and Tekoa. Wow. There are talks of dreams that it might someday even be bigger than Efrat. Wow. All this in Ari's name. I think that if this organization has the zchut to train people to defend Israel, again, wow. What did Ari do? Day and night defending Israel. So if young students or young people are taught how to defend Israel, to learn the history of Israel, and to know to go out and do what he did, then the sprouts of this tree are just amazing. And that's where we are a year later, I think, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we're all about, I believe.
I know for many of us, I mean, after everyone passes away, all of a sudden family learns different things that they didn't know about before. But I think in Ari's case, I think we were all very surprised to hear unbelievable stories, able to share anything that all of a sudden was a, wow, really? I didn't know that about Ari, from the people closest to him.
Before we address that question, which is a very important question, I just want to say, you asked before, where are we at right now? And of course, there isn't a moment or a day that goes by that we don't have Ari in our minds and in our hearts. However, in this past month, where we're getting closer to the yard site, and there have been a lot of events scheduled and a lot of askarot, and we're getting closer, Bezrat Hashem, to the dedication of this wonderful truck. The urgency and the rate of things that are happening around us, surrounding Ari, just brings to mind that this is what he did, that this was his pace. What we're feeling now, this omes of one thing after another, appearing here, appearing there, talking about him, that was his life. That's what he did. That's what he did day and night. That much we knew. Did we know how he accomplished, how he succeeded? We didn't know. And you know what? He didn't measure his success by that. He measured his success by reaching and giving and talking and doing. And that was enough for him. He didn't care, Ma, I raised this or I did this. I never heard those words. I never heard this is what I did. It wasn't there. He was just, as Yona once said, he was going out, pushing out, every direction, out, never in. So this rate and this pace that we're feeling now, it just gives me a good glimpse of what his day and nights were like, because that's what he did.
Thank you, Mary. And I know just last night I was talking to you, Miriam, and you mentioned something else, how, oh my God, if I would know that his name is going to be all over the land of Israel. Can you expand upon that for us?
You know, I think something that we feel at home is Ari had such a presence. Wherever he went, he had a presence. Everybody always felt safe around him. I've heard this numerous times. And sometimes we also feel like he's going to come walking through the door any minute, because he was always there. He's always there. And we still feel that. But I think that's the one thing I'm only sorry about, is that Ari's not around to actually see all of these. He worked so hard to make these things happen. So hard to spread the truth as a proud Jew, as a proud Israeli, as a lover of Israel. And all of these things are happening in his zchut, mamash bizchuto. It's all happening. And he would have loved every single minute. He worked so hard after he lost Yehoshua to remember Yehoshua, that everybody should remember what these Chayalim Bodedim, they left everything. It was a calling for them. They came to Israel, Ari included. They came to Israel away from their families to serve in a Jewish army, in the Israeli army, our army, in our country, to defend our people, to defend our right to be here. And they paid for it dearly. And that was one of the things that Ari really worked for so many years, to try to remember Yehoshua, kept in touch with Yehoshua's parents, kept in touch with Yehoshua's father, and to see all these things finally happening, I think it's pretty amazing. But I hope Ari's watching.
I keep on saying, not only is Ari watching, Ari's laughing. He's laughing out of happiness, seeing everything going on, especially following his footsteps in so many ways. And I know I mentioned earlier that Herb, every time he came to Israel, he would go to your house for Shabbat. There was a strong family connection that Ari helped develop, and then you, I imagine, as well, and all the kids. So,
and every single time Ari went to the United States, he always went up to Montreal, always stayed with her, to spend a little time with him. It was a very special connection that they had. It was a connection that Herb had to Yehoshua, and Ari really worked very hard to keep that connection alive. And I hope that we are now, it's our job to keep that and try as much as we can to keep Yehoshua's memory alive. A truck like this that drives onto an army base with these pictures of Yehoshua and of Ari on the side, they'll never be forgotten, thanks to this project.
Right. And I know, so we're talking about Ari as the person that the close connections he had with Herb family. I saw Ari as a father in the community and synagogue, but I also know, and I didn't really see this, but I also know Ari was a very strong uncle. So I'd love to hear from Shoshana on that perspective of Ari.
I think that Ari he wasn't a stand-by-the-side uncle. All the sisters were a lot of sisters. So all the sisters, when Ari would come, we'd come with our kids, and he'd start getting them crazy and wild. And we'd be like, Ari, leave the kids alone. Do not get the kids wild. And it was funny, but he didn't leave them alone. What parsha are you learning? What are you doing now? What did you learn in school? We're like, just leave them alone. The kids were like, let Uncle Ari leave us alone. But we asked my boys when we went with Miriam, we were sitting and having a little talk about Ari, and my Eitan said, we said, do you have anything to say about Uncle Ari? And he said, I feel bad. And we said, why do you feel bad? And he said, because he was Uncle Ari to us, and I didn't realize what a great, amazing man he was.
Wow.
till after, and he did all these things and these projects that he's done. And Eitan was working in the shul with the rabbi of the YU. The rabbi of YU had come and was hosted.
Rabbi
in,
Goldberg.
by
Rabbi
us.
Goldberg.
Yeah, in the kfar, and Eitan was one of the waiters helping out. And while he was serving and the rabbi had given his drasha, he started talking about Ari and quoting Ari, and Ari Fuld this, that, and Eitan turned around and said, "That's strange." And then somebody said, his nephew's here in the back, and he came out. He said, "You knew my uncle Ari?" He said, "No, I just know all these great stories. I didn't have the cover to meet him and knew these great stories." So for Eitan said, "It's amazing what a great person he was, but I just knew him as Uncle Ari, and I feel bad I didn't know him as this great person." I said, that's okay. He was a real human. He was Uncle Ari to us.
I think that's a great segue back to the question I asked before, Rabbi and Mary. Are you able to share some of the stories that just surprised you that you didn't know about?
I was sitting, the Shabbat after it happened, we all went to Efrat, to Mim, and we were sitting around the table, and they're very close-knit friends whom they do everything with, including Kiddush hopping every Shabbos to someone else's house. They came over to Miriam and said, "Miriam, we want to have the Kiddush at your house this week," even though the Shabbos before, Ari, the last minute, decided to have the Kiddush in his house. Made a big chulent. It was a home run chulent, I heard. And the following Shabbos would have been another group's chance, but they came over to Miriam right after it happened, mamash right after Rosh Hashanah, and they said, "Can we come to you? Can we come to you?" Right after Yom Kippur, "Can we come to you and have the Kiddush?" So they sat around. We just sat on the side watching everybody. There was a lot of laughing. There were a lot of sad looks, but mostly laughing. They were talking about Ari. They were telling fun stories. And you could just feel the camaraderie in the group. But there was one story that just blew us away. Apparently, there was either an Arab worker or a car mechanic, or I don't know what he was exactly. Maybe he worked in your home, Miriam. And Ari had a relationship with him. They had a business relationship, and it was fine. And apparently one day this man went missing. And the story that I heard was the family knew where he was being held and by whom he was being held. They couldn't go to the Palestinian authorities because they felt they were probably complicit.
He was a collaborator.
Because he was being held as a collaborator because he had such good relations with some of the Jewish residents of Efrat. They couldn't go to the Israeli authorities because Israel can't go into that territory. They have no samchut there, no authority at all. Who did they go to? Ari Fuld. And we're sitting and listening to this story. Ari found out which villages he was in. I don't know if he took anyone with him or not. He marched into that village and he rescued this man and brought him out of there.
Wow.
Believe me, I didn't hear it from Ari. We heard it from his friends. I think he was afraid to tell me, to tell you the truth. I probably would have chopped his head off. He never would have told me that story. But that was incredible to me. That is fueled by what's right, tzedek, fueled by courage, unfathomable to the man in the street, unfathomable to me, that he would have put himself at risk, but he was armed with this armor of doing what's right and tzedek. And, of course, that passion, and he went straight ahead with it.
What I keep saying is that there was a chorus of voices, really countless voices, who said, "I met Ari and the rest of the sentence, I mean, incredible. I met Ari and I became religious. I met Ari and I came on Aliyah. I met Ari and story after story. And we're talking about the globe. We get that in email. We're talking about people from Amsterdam. Recently there was a rally in Amsterdam, which was in his memory. Amsterdam, what does he have to do with Amsterdam? country after country, city after city, people talk about, some say I met Ari, and others say I never met Ari, but I saw his videos and it influenced my entire life. And there's so many stories that we got since then. We didn't know this beforehand, but these are all things that unfolded after that event.
What did you do right as parents? And it's for all your kids and all your family. What did you do right, Rabbi Fuld and Yonah, and Mary?
Our parents instilled in us. And hopefully we passed it on. It was our parents. Ari knew that. My mother was his hero. She was a woman who went through the Shoah. She was, she wasn't educated in college, but she was fierce in her love of the Jewish people. She was fierce in her faith in Netzach Yisrael, in her emunah that never questioned God's word, and she had plenty of reasons to question. She said, what God gives you, we take. And I think Ari saw that greatness, and at her funeral, he gave a hesped, and he said, Grandma, you are my hero. So it came from Yonah's parents, also this tremendous love of Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael, Torah Yisrael, and hopefully we were just a conduit.
So back to any surprising stories you can share? Well, Miriam knew everything. He told you everything when he came home at 2 o'clock at night every night.
He was very excited about, oh, look who liked my post, some guy from Saudi Arabia. Look at this guy from Japan, from China. Yeah, I was very excited about how far. I don't think he realized exactly how far, but, with the likes and the comments, I think that it wasn't a matter of an ego. It was a matter of, look how far I have spread the truth. Mm-hmm. Look how far it spread. To him, I think that was a way of knowing not only that people were hearing, people were listening. People were listening. If you flip the channel and you don't like what you see, you just keep flipping. But, seeing how many likes you're getting or how many people are tuning in really showed how far he was reaching. And that was to reach as far as possible so that so many more people will hear the truth and listen to the truth and know the truth. Yeah. Ari had a vast, incredible knowledge of history of the Jewish people, the history of the land of Israel, and that was the facts. He was equipped with the facts, and he knew exactly how to fight back to all of our haters, everybody who was against Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael. He was going to show them what is the truth. These are the facts on the table.
You were talking about how he was so excited when people from all over the world, right? So one of the first projects of the Ari Fuld Project, if I'm not mistaken, was the Yom Yerushalayim, the Jerusalem Day project of handing out the bracelets, the Ari Fuld bracelets around the old city. And I was outside of the Jaffa Gate with my son, with the group of people there. And we put up the sign, the big banner with Ari's face, and a lady all of a sudden stopped in front of me and the sign and went ballistic. She goes, "Oh my God, I know you, and I know Ari!" A woman from Taiwan.
Oh my goodness.
Visiting Jerusalem. And she took a picture and saying, I followed both of you. And it was so exciting for her to meet in person. So just focusing on education and chinuch again, as you were referring to, as the son of a principal, to the principal of a son, Ari and I were classmates at SAR when you were the principal. Rabbi Cohn was the assistant principal. How was it to be the principal of your son in elementary school? And again, I knew Ari very well, and he wasn't always sitting in his seat. He was a very rambunctious young man, to say the least.
Ari always said it wasn't such a bad thing to be sent to the principal's office. He always said that.
And I won't say how many times that happened.
I sent his mother to take care of the PTA meetings.
That's true.
That was the best way. Was an assistant principal. Talk to the assistant principal. I'm out. That was the trick. I don't think they suffered too much. I was concerned that they would suffer because their father was principal, but I don't think they suffered too much.
No.
I gave them chocolate bars, recess time. Came to my office, and that was it.
Now, I know that before the family made Aliyah, you had a year of shlichut, and then Ari came on his own. So anything special about that time period that you remember that helped also develop?
So I want to relate to what you said about him being. He wasn't always sitting in his seat. He had a lot of energy. He was born with a lot of energy. As a baby, he hardly slept. You know, most new mothers take 2 hours for granted. A baby sleeps, you get things done in the house, 20 minutes tops. That energy level pretty much carried through with his life, and that's why I admire so much the switch and the change that he was able to do, and that really became obvious to us in that year when he went to Israel. You know, we were here in that year in Shnat Shabbaton. We didn't really stress academics that year for him because we wanted him to love Israel, and we decided among ourselves, you know, I don't know what he did that year in school, but it didn't matter because we clearly saw the last Shabbos that we were here, Friday night, we went to the Kotel, and for some reason, Ari always got a microphone shoved in front of his face. I don't know if it was his height. Even then, he was 17 years old. And this was our last Friday night. We were all teary-eyed that we had to leave Israel after a year. Right before Kabbalat Shabbat, right before Mincha, they shove a microphone in front of his face. And it was President Bush Sr. who was in charge then, and there was a lot of talk about giving away and land swapping for peace, etc. What else is new? And Chadash Tachat HaShemesh. And reporters saying to him, what do you think about President Bush's policy? So we're standing on the side, and he starts, President Bush doesn't understand that every stone in this city is soaked with the blood of our people. How dare he think that we're going to give away our history? And he's going on and on. We never heard him.
Wow.
You know, we would speak that away about hockey maybe, but we never heard that. And we looked at each other and we went, wow, I guess our plan worked. You know, not to sit on him for academics. The following year he came to Israel, and we were proud of him. He went to, it was then Yeshiva Hotel, which later became Netiv. Hanukkah time, we get a phone call from Rav Bina. Random phone call. He calls us up and he says, I'm calling to tell you that your son does not leave the Beit Midrash. And that was because he took his energy, he took his passion, and he was able to control it and direct it. Anybody who can do that, I have the highest respect and admiration for. That you could take your strengths and focus them and channel them into something positive, and he continued to do that for the rest of his life. We see that.
Right.
It wasn't that easy. It wasn't natural. Some people, it comes naturally and easy to. Didn't come easy to him, but he did it.
Wow.
So that's another facet of his strength and gevura. There was the physical, but this is another facet of it.
So it might sound obvious, but I think it's important to touch upon and hear your thoughts. Why is the Ari Fuld Project so important moving forward from here?
I think everything that Ari was involved in inspired other people. People want to give, people want to do, but sometimes they just need kivun, they just need a direction. Ari gave people an excuse, if you want to call it that, a direction. Support the soldiers of Israel. You can do it like this. You can make them warm with fleece jackets. You can put a smile on their face by going to the farthest base you can find on the border of Lebanon and bring them pancakes. You know, it's a small little gesture, you know. Any of these projects that Ari was trying to push forward, I think, just inspired people, and in that way, it also just shows the support that everybody around the world has for their Jewish people, for the land of Israel.
I think it's relatively obvious. In other words, the project is continuing his work, which was L'Shem Shamayim. It was for Medinat Yisrael, for Eretz Yisrael, for Torat Yisrael. That's what we're all about. That's what we should be all about. That's all that counts in this world. That's what defined Ari Fuld. And the Ari Fuld Project is simply continuing that work. What could be better?
And I know, Shoshana, I'm going to ask you this, because Rabbi Fuld spoke earlier about how surprising, how many projects there are, how many Sifrei Torah. I know you're on top of how many projects are happening all over the world in memory of Ari.
So I think originally when, I think after Ari passed, I was thinking, okay, we need to do something. We need to start something, we need to do something. The outpour was tremendous. People were approaching Miriam. Miriam said, Sean, take care of this. I said, take care of what? There are hundreds, thousands of people. People were coming and saying, well, who's going to continue? What are we going to do about this? And I said, okay, we need to do something. So we got together and said, okay, let's start this project and let's try to continue Ari's work. I think originally we thought it would be one or two things, and I was thinking I have a full-time job and we don't need to do anymore. And then we were like, oh well, Ari was working on this, and we were like, oh my goodness. And there are so many different projects that Ari was working on that we were astounded at how many things he was doing and he was working on, and it was all about helping everybody. So I think what Miriam said is right. I think that we kind of said, because people were approaching us, okay, we'll donate to here, and it was all over the place. We said, okay, we have to help. We have to step in and give legitimization to which projects and say, okay, this is something that we confirm, this is something that we say is okay, and all the proceeds are going to X. And then people can choose which project they want. We want to donate to the soldiers, or we want to donate to the Sifrei Torah, or we want to, and exactly what they want. And then people can also just globally and help us just continue the work. But there are so many ideas and so many things going on. We're hoping that it will grow and eventually have a center in Ari's name where we can help educate people and show videos of Ari and go on. It's amazing. I still see videos. I can't think of a day that I open Facebook and don't see Ari's face there.
Right.
And I'm like, again, and I'll watch it again, and the likes are still going. And I'm like, and people are going, we miss you, Ari. But that's the way I feel as well. He's right there in front of us, and he's still talking to all of us. And I think that's the amazing part that we say. You said before, Ari's laughing up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's laughing. I think he's laughing with us, where he's saying, you know what? I got all of you to move. I got you all to do. And I think that's what he did. We're all nonchalant. We were all like, oh, leave us alone. Everybody's busy with their own things quietly. And Ari was out there doing all of these different projects. And I think when Ari left, there's how many people that are here to try to fill that void. And all of us together are trying to create this project where we can consolidate all of Ari's projects, but help people, guide them which way to go and what to do with it. And it's tremendous and it's amazing. And anybody that wants to join and help is welcome. And anybody else that has any more ideas, please, because eventually we're hoping to open a volunteer center and a place for the soldiers and a pinachama and everything that Ari ever dreamed of. So I think Ari's sitting back and saying, haha, got you all to work, got you all to get off your seats and put in that strength and give back to the community, to Eretz Yisrael, to Am Yisrael, and help out. And I know that you see soldiers and you're like, okay, I wish I could help, I don't know what to do. Now we know what to do. Now we know how to guide it, and donating to this project, we are helping guiding it in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think that's a great, great follow-up. Anyone, please share this program. And if you haven't donated yet, now's a chance to help be a part of this very, very special program with the Ari Fuld Project and this truck in his memory and Yehoshua's memory.
Avi, I would just like to add one thing, please. Jumping off of what Shoshana said, there's so many people that are volunteering and doing things to keep the project going, including yourself. And I wish I could name them one by one to say thank you. But I'm going to go out of line and say that Steve Levitt has from the beginning been a friend like none other in this world. And I must mention his name. He deserves tremendous thanks. He's dedicated himself in an incredible way to head up a project, this project, and many other projects, to remember Ari and to continue his work. And so I just want to express, and I'm sure I see everybody nodding their heads, I want to thank everybody, all those people that are so dedicated. But at the head of them, I think we want to thank Steve Levitt.
And I was going to ask any other final thoughts
That's
to
my
leave
final
us,
thought,
to
so
leave
I
us
said
with.
it.
Steve came to Israel, learned in Yeshivat Kotel with Ari when they came, and they both also took on the decision to stay in Israel. Steve also came to Israel and became a Chayal Boded and also served in the army. He was a friend to Ari day in, day out. Every single time I wasn't awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, but Steve was always there. Steve, you got to see this. Steve, you're not going to believe what happened, all the time. And now, afterwards, Demet, Steve is just a friend and a partner in the Ari Fuld Project, and works countless hours just to keep Ari's work going.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time,
Thank you.
Thank
for
you very much.
everything you have done and continue to do for the Jewish people, for the land of Israel, for the whole world. And may God bless you all and everything. Thank you
you.
very much.
Nishma b'sorot tovot.
Amen.
Shana
Amen. It
Tova.
should be a good year.
Shana
Shana
Tova
Tova.
to everybody.
Everybody, we're now going to put the video on again. And please, if you have not shared this program yet or donated yet, now's your chance. Now's the video. Thanks for watching, everybody.